Hey Fit Pros, hope you are amazing. Right now I'm going to be sharing something that I think is truly profound with someone that is even more profound, because if you're looking for clients, let's just say for example, if you go, Chris, Gemma, I want clients right now, I need to be able to get leads, I need to be able to start getting clients on board, I need cash. What do? This is going to be the exact solution for you to be able to follow through with, and why I brought Gemma on today, because we're going to be going through that. Now, as we go through today's session, if you're joining us live, comment below live, or if you're watching it as a not live and a replay, just comment below replay so we can make sure you get the most out of it as well. If you do find any value out of this, hit like as we go through that process as well. It does mean a lot. And then also, if you have any questions that come up, put them into the comments. I literally see them live as we come up, and then I get the notifications after, so we can come in and answer your questions as well. Now, let's get into this, Gemma. Let's be straight up, honest, frank, completely transparent. Why did we jump on a call a little while ago?
Well, I had a fantastic end of my 2021 in terms of my business. I had some great leads coming in, I had some good money coming in, and everything was kind of going the way that I had planned and anticipated and worked my ass off to do, basically. What ended up happening though was that I took my foot off the gas. Around December, January, everything sort of dried up a little bit, and then it kind of just, because I had so many things going on in my world, there was a lot of things that kind of built up, and I didn't actually put as much energy and effort into my business as I should have. That's just a fact. I was still getting leads coming in, I still had my ads running, but I didn't have sales coming through. I hadn't made sales in about 3 or 4 months, and I decided to move house. And I'm in Sydney, and Sydney's not exactly the cheapest of areas to live. And whilst I was getting money coming in, because obviously I'm still doing things, face to face, and I have other work that I do as well outside of my business, I hadn't really put as much money away as what I needed to for my move. And the stresses of moving is just horrendous anyway. And then to add on to that, the financial stress and, the fear around, I've got to pay for removalist, cleaner, all of the things basically. And then on top of that, paying rent, bond, blah, 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 etc. My stress, my anxiety was through the roof. And I remember messaging you, and I'm like, I just didn't know what to do. I think we just had we're back. I don't know what's going on. I think my connection, I think my connection's a bit slow. All good. So I just had a freak out, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know how I'm going to make this work. And that's when I got on a call with you. And I was like, I've got to figure out a way to make some money. I need to bring in some clients. I need to, because I started having some of my clients finish their contracts with me from, earlier last year. And because of that, it all just snowballed. And it was just a case that everything started to feel like it was building on top of me. And I needed to make a change. So
amazing. I really appreciate you sharing this, because I think it's really important that we do talk about the real stuff, and especially for the coaches that are joining us right now. I think so much of it is 3 things I want to highlight before we go into what we actually did to make sure that you got cranking sales so quickly. Number 1, personal stuff in life is always going to come up, and I think we need to appreciate that fact. And so as much as it would be amazing, like we need to talk about just like leads and business and all of this kind of stuff, there's a personal life that we lead, do you know what I mean, the entirety of our life, and we need to be able to take that in. And I always say that we have personal problems that affect our business, and obviously there's things going to be such as moving house, they're going to come up, and we need to be able to navigate those waters well. And secondly, I think what was super important as well is you did know that your pipeline went dry because you kind of just fell off the wagon with doing things. And I only say that for two reasons. One, to kick you up the ass to make sure that you don't never do that again. But two, to kick everyone else up the buttocks to make sure that you're constantly doing the things. Because there's there's three hats we need to think that we're wearing. One, marketing, lead generation. Two, making the sales. Three, delivering to our coaches. So as I say that, let's go into the actually, what did you do to make this happen? Let's get into the meat of this right now. We jumped on the call. You were like freaking out. Yo, I need to make sales. And I was like, great, we're just going to make this happen. Typically, I like to think I'm the nice dude giving cuddles and fist bumps. But as I said to you on the call, I'm going to strap my boots on right now and let's do this. So let's go through the process of what it is you went through.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, massive, like the one thing that really was the key for me was action. That's it. I had stopped taking action. I stopped taking daily action, which led me to the point of where I was at now, at that sort of freak out level where I'd kind of felt like I was, at rock bottom and had to find my way back out. So the first thing I did was action. So we spoke obviously about how to do this, and what we sort of discussed was looking at a no-brainer offer, like a no-brainer deal. And my deal that I offered in terms of my coaching was extremely valuable. Like, I was charging anywhere from $100 up to $147 a week for the actual program, 16-week program with a $500 deposit. So I was making some decent coin, per week in that sort of sense. What I ended up doing was taking action, getting myself out there. I get in my head a lot about social media, and I'm trying my best to get out of that. But I'm just not someone, like, as much as I'm a fun kind of personality and I'm, love being around people and stuff, I often kind of go, why do I need to be on social media? Like, what's the point? No one's looking anyway. No one gives a shit what I've got to say. But you never know who's watching. And that was the key for me. I really recognized was, one, every single day take some type of action, and two, you just don't know who's watching, and it could be anyone, and you might just speak to someone through something that you say that resonates with them, and they have seen my stuff before, or they haven't maybe seen my stuff before, and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And then all of a sudden, bang, it just happens. So from my perspective, action was the first thing. Like, and Chris, you know that about me. I'm like, if you give me something to do, I do it. Like, I'm very, my work ethic's a bit crazy. I'm a bit off the charts.
I love you. And I think that's so important for us to share. It's like, I'll be perfect honest. Nothing that we did is really magical, is really that great. Like, it's only great if you actually do it at the end of the day. And that's really powerful to know. And I appreciate you sharing. Like, it's not about, like, this isn't about getting more followers. And it does suck to, like, let's say, like, you open your phone up right now. Okay, I'm going to tell a super quick story. I was at the gym this morning having a sweat, and in front of me, I was on the ergo bike. And I was like, two people I could see were with tripods filming themselves doing workouts, right? And I go, hey, I get it. Like, I totally get it. But one, it doesn't have to be really hard. And two, you should have a process in which you do X work and you get Y outcome. And I think that's where you had the confidence to be like, hey, I don't have a big social media following. I don't need a social media following. I don't give a crap about it anyway. What I do give a crap about is clients coming on board, because that's what you're doing at the end. So I appreciate that, Gemma. I think that's really important, and it's a message I want to bang home about so everyone doesn't have to freak out about it.
Yeah, like, I mean, my Instagram, I've got a fairly decent Instagram. It's nothing crazy. It's about 18,000 people. But of those 18,000, because of the algorithms, I might be lucky to have 200 people see my stuff a day. Same thing with Facebook. I see, I get my ads coming through, and I get my leads coming through from my ads. But when I post onto my Facebook business page, there's only like 20 or 30 people who see it because the algorithm's so bad. And that's also my fault because I haven't been posting. Because Facebook hasn't recognized me as being a regular poster. So that's the other thing as well. Like, if you want your followers, if that's what you're looking for, which we shouldn't be, we should be looking obviously for how we can help as many people as possible. But in order to get out to as many people as possible, you need to be able to actually have people see what you're doing. And social media is the key for that, obviously. And then increased amount of exposure means more people are going to see what you've got to do. But yeah, like I definitely got, one of the things that I didn't do a great deal of, I won't lie, when I started with the cartel, was that I didn't do a great deal of DM chats. I wasn't really chatting with a lot of clients on DMs. It was more about booking them in for a call, because on video, my personality comes across a lot better, I feel. So I was always getting people in for chats. However, when I put this deal together, which, you know, got me to where I was at the end of the last weekend or the weekend before, that was all on DM. I think I had one phone call, one video phone chat, and that was it. So it was really interesting because I just sold everything on DM, and I was like, how did that happen? But I also made a decision, I think for me as well, like, and Chris, you know me with regards to the energetic side of things and the woo-woo mindset stuff. You have to be so certain in what it is that you're doing and who it is that you are and what you're actually offering people, and so certain in that you are going to do this no matter what. And that's kind of what I did. I actually made a decision. I was like, it's not negotiable that I don't move. It's not negotiable that I don't make this money. I have to find this money from somewhere. And because I made that decision, it was almost like there was all these different ideas that were popping up in my mind constantly, where I was like, oh, I could ask this person, oh, I could contact this person. And that's what ended up kind of happening. So it was really, really interesting the way it all happened. But to let you guys know what I actually did, I gave a huge discount. I had this program, like I said, which was a certain amount, and I literally cut 70% off the fee of what that program was. And I ended up signing up 4 new clients, and I had 1 re-sign, as well as getting a further upfront payment for face-to-face PT with her as well. And that was how I went.
So this is what I love, and I think I can break this down into 3 steps. The first one, and I think this is actually the most important one, is we said you're going to create an offer that people can't say no to, which meant you're like, oh, okay, well, what is it that people can't say no to? Like, what is it that they truly want? And you crafted, and you did this really quickly, you crafted together an offer where it was like amazing, like incredible. And the beauty about it is, I think it was also, if I'm going to be honest, I think it was also when anyone is down in the dumps, naturally their confidence is lower as well, which means it's harder to build momentum, it's harder to have conversations, it's harder to do the things when you're not getting that that gratification, that validation, that kind of response needed to kind of build yourself back up. And so that's why I think having the offer that you're like, this is just too good. Like, this is crazy that I'm giving this away and selling this and giving them a discount on top of this. Because now the cool thing is, number 1, you put together an offer people can't say no to. 2, when it came to you selling it, you had so much conviction behind what was behind it. You can sell, do you know what I mean, multiple $1,000 programs via DMs, which is ridiculous when you think about it. Like, you're tapping away, or your VA is now tapping away being able to send the same messages that you were going to send. And 3, I would love to know, how does your confidence now feel moving forward, being able to sell that program but at full price?
Yeah, like, I've definitely got a lot more confidence around it. Like, I always had confidence around it because I know that the value was there, but it's almost like a no-brainer now for me in terms of that program. I mean, and to add to that program, there's more that I could even add to it to make it even more of a no-brainer. You know, and there's all these different elements that you can look at from how to make it the best possible option for someone that they literally can't say no to. But it's all about also the capacity of how much I want to put into individual clients. The best part as well for me was, I think, I'd had a number of clients who had been working with me from last year who weren't necessarily the perfect fit for me. They weren't fitting in with what it was that I really wanted to work with. And then through this offer, miraculously, I found clients who all fit exactly what I want to do and who I want to work with. And I was like, hey now, this is cool.
It's really good. But it like, okay, we can do a little bit of woo-woo energetic stuff. Like there is alignment with you now being like, this is who I want and this is exactly what this person wants. And now you're only getting the perfect type of client getting signed on and you're not dealing with those energy vampires anymore.
100%. It was a decision again. I made a really distinct decision earlier this year towards when some of the contracts of the other clients were ending. And don't get me wrong, these people were phenomenal and I love them. They were great people, but just not necessarily the right fit for my kind of program. Because I don't work with newbies who don't train.
Someone just come through. This is beautiful. I can't see the name, but whoever just actually commented on just says, I want that alignment. And I want to double click on this because I think this is really, really important when it comes to, I think we all know, if we've been a coach for a little while now, I know I used to do this, do you know what I mean, back in the time of training clients in the gym, and I did this when it came to online. You'd have a conversation with someone, you'd sign someone up as a client, and about 3 seconds after you sign them up, you get that feeling of dread where you're like, I just sold my soul. Like, you know that you're not going to be looking forward to those conversations you get back into, and that sucks. So I think that's really important, Gemma, because I think you can be a really cool North Star for the coaches to be like, oh, I can charge really good dollars and coach the people that I love to coach. Like, that's why we do this at the end of the day anyway.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, we're all different coaches, right? We're all different specialties and niches and areas of actual interest in who we want to work with. Like as you know, I obviously teach PTs how to be PTs. And one of the things that I'm always talking about, and I try to drill home with them, is like, guys, like, choose who you want to work with. Don't just work with anyone, even though it's like, you know, an experience thing in the beginning. But over time, like after being in the industry, like I have for, 15 years, 16 years, it ends up being like, no, there's a specific type of person I want to work with, and then I'm going to resonate with and I'm going to connect with really, really well. And that's, and being clear on that, I think is super important. And also being clear on the offer and what you've got to offer. Like, and then making the decision and making the reason behind why you're doing what you're doing so not negotiable. Like, there is no chance that you're going to fail. Like, I made the decision. There is no chance of failure here. It's just, it's literally not in my awareness, not even in my, in my mind. So, and it wasn't. It was just like, nah, I'm going to make this work no matter what. And I did.
Dude, you make me smile. You make me smile. And I think this is really cool. And so I think the last question I want us to be able to answer is, where did the people come from? I think one thing that we could help the other coaches figure out is like, okay, we put together, actually, I'm more than happy to kind of like unveil the kimono. One, put together an offer people can't say no to. Two, you messaged and got in contact with them, and it was like a 1 or 2 sentence message that you sent out to a bunch of people that then got them to show interest, that you then just followed up with, and then could like literally sell them via the DM. But 3, I want us to highlight this. Where were those people? Like, I want kind of, I don't want to say it, I want you to be able to say it. It's like, when you went out to those people, who were they that you then got signed on as clients?
So for me, there were people, there was a couple of people who I had worked with in the past, knew me already, and they were former clients, like face-to-face clients who wanted to do online coaching with me, and they were lifters as well, which, like I said, tick all the boxes. 2 of them were from Instagram who I've never met before in my life, never even had a phone conversation with them. Sorry, there's a fly buzzing around. Never even had a phone conversation, and I sold them on DM. But it's because they'd watched all of my posts for such a long time. There was one girl who was friends with another girl that I know who I used to coach as well. And she followed me and she'd been watching stuff and commenting here and there. So I knew that she'd be someone to contact. But it was a blanket message that I sent out to hundreds of people. and like posts, stories, everything on Instagram predominantly. That is really where it was for me. And then also, there was a couple of leads that I had who had been interested and opted in from my ad, and I contacted them as well. And I almost got another 2, but they, it wouldn't work out at that time. But like we talked about, I might get someone in May. We'll just see. But but that's basically mainly Instagram, to be honest.
Amazing. This has been good. I really enjoyed that we shared this. We have gone over time. We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, sorry.
Why do you recommend other coaches do the same thing that you're doing now?
You need direction. You need, I feel like if you're flying blind and you're trying to do everything on your own, you just get so lost and there's no direction. Whereas the cartel has provided me with structure, support, ways in which to do things that I never even thought about. And just being able to bounce ideas off people and stuff as well, and being able to see what other people are doing. You may not necessarily do the exact same thing that what other people are doing, but it's still going to be something that you're going to learn from. And I feel like without having that support and that assistance, when you're flying blind, it's literally like that. You're flying blind, and then you don't really know, where you go. You don't know where you're going, and you don't know where you're coming from either. It's kind of like it's because it's a different world, the online space. And I, being someone who's a face-to-face trainer for a long time, breaking into the online space, and I'm still nowhere near even close to being where I want to be. But there's a lot of elements that I just did not even take into account. And then I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to do that. And the cartel, it does everything for you. You guys literally provide everything you can possibly imagine. And from ads to copy to platforms to use to all kinds of stuff. And then on top of that, all the coaching and support. It's a no-brainer.
Appreciate that. All right, so all of you amazing coaches joining us right now, if you want to get the exact same system and be able to do what Gemma's able to do, just comment below Gemma, and we'll be able to make sure that you get booked in and make sure that 1, it's the right fit, 2, we answer your questions, 3, give you the right plan so you get moving forward. Gemma, I appreciate you. I love you. I really do appreciate you sharing up and opening up everything that we've been able to share, because we all go through hard times in life. We all get stuck in our own heads, and I think the coolest thing is it doesn't need to be that way for very long at all. Now you're in a cool new place, and you're able to do what you just did to make $7,800 in 2 days over and 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 over again. And I don't think there's any need to overcomplicate this at the same time.
Definitely. No, definitely is. The confidence is through the roof. I think the biggest thing for me that I did for myself in this is that I proved that I could do it. Once you prove that you can do something to yourself, it's easy from that.
That's really cool. All right. For everyone, peace. Comment Gemma below and we'll be in touch. Gemma, mwah.